Danger. The emergency destruct system is now activated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Em 1979, chegava aos cinemas Alien, o oitavo passageiro, dirigido por Ridley Scott e considerada uma das obras mais influentes do terror e da ficção científica. O enorme sucesso do primeiro filme levou a Fox a investir numa continuação, resultando em Aliens, O Resgate, lançado em 86 e com direção de James Cameron. E apesar de terem estilos de direção bem diferentes, os dois filmes se complementaram de forma perfeita.
Funciona.
Com o sucesso de bilheteria ainda maior que o do primeiro longa, a franquia Alien se consolidou como uma das mais icônicas da cultura pop. No entanto, as sequências que vieram após o segundo filme não conseguiram alcançar a mesma aclamação de público e crítica. E foi nesse contexto que o diretor Fede Álvares teve a ideia de criar um novo filme que retornasse às origens da franquia. O objetivo era resgatar o terror atmosférico de Ridley Scott e a ação eletrizante de James Cameron, mas com uma história independente, repleta de tensão e adrenalina.
Corre! It was a total privilege when I got the chance to work with Ridley and making a new one. It's just one of those pinch yourself moments.
Watching anyone's version, there's always trepidation. I thought Alien needed a really fresh view.
The Aliens have been a lot of things, and that's the beauty of it. Every director took it in a different direction. That's what makes it so unique and special and completely different from most movie franchises. I felt what I wanted to do was to take it back to the beginning and make it a pure horror movie again.
Situado cronologicamente entre o primeiro e o segundo filme, Alien Romulus acompanha um grupo de jovens colonos que, em busca de uma vida melhor, descobrem uma estação espacial abandonada. Mas, como esperado, eles não estão sozinhos e precisarão lutar para sobreviver.
It takes place 20 years after the original movie, so that's roughly 20 years before the second movie.
A few decades after Alien. The reason for that was mostly that's the world I wanted to travel to. There's a deleted scene from James Cameron's Aliens where you get to see Newt and a bunch of kids running around the colony. And I remember seeing that and thinking, wow, what it would be for kids that age to grow up in a colony so small where there's nothing to do. And I was imagining what would happen with those kids when they become teenagers.
E o diretor Álvares fez questão de trazer de volta a essência dos efeitos práticos dos filmes originais da franquia, garantindo que cada detalhe fosse o mais realista possível.
Those original movies are so grounded and so practical in their approach that I knew in order for this to be scary, it needed to be gritty and real and grounded. The rule of thumb was if it can be done practical, it will be done practical.
That rod here, and you press it hard against the grid. It's a very stable point. Otherwise, it will be all wobbly, and there's no CG grid that I can add there to make it work.
E todas as locações internas, desde os corredores da colônia até as gigantescas naves espaciais, foram construídas em estúdio.
So the Corbellans built on stage, the Renaissance, the big spaceships built on stage.
These sets really help with the acting because you're really just reacting to what is in front of you. And they're absolutely incredible and massive and so immersive.
A equipe queria que o filme se encaixasse visualmente entre o primeiro e o segundo, como se ele tivesse sido realmente feito naquela época.
The visual was more of the 80s version of the future than now.
There's, these massive 80s computers in the labs, and I've got like high-top Reeboks that sort of pay homage to the boot that Ripley wears.
It follows that classic Alien formula. The xenomorph that has been kind of strung up in the lab is the same xenomorph that
Ripley shoots with a harpoon in the original film. If you're very eagle-eyed, you might actually see that harpoon as well.
When we first started talking about the concept of the Renaissance, we really loved the Remus and the Romulus story, breaking the ship in two parts and giving a difference in style slightly. So the Remus we're modeling more off of the Alien film that's a little bit more dark and maybe eclectic with a bit more use and aging. And then the Romulus side is a little bit slicker, and I'm hoping that when the audience, when we transition through the movie and they see that transition from the Remus to the Romulus, you'll kind of feel a little bit of a difference as we lean back into the aliens.
We build all the sets without any CG help almost, just really because what's inspiring for me is to walk on the set every morning and actually see it and be living in the world.
Eu não sei o que é, tem alguma coisa na água.
Now we're into the cryo lab. This, in theory, is the inside of like a freezer or a meat locker. The idea is that this keeps it at an optimal temperature, but once the power gets turned off in here, they start to melt and these come to life and they start dropping. They'd hit the water and that's when we kick off that scene. So this set was built in a tank that we could flood with water, and then we melted paraffin wax on top to create that icy, slushy look. And we had nitrogen coming from all the tubes and dry ice containers, kind of giving that cold.
And action.
O diretor Fide Álvares queria desde o início que todas as criaturas fossem construídas com efeitos práticos.
3, 2, 1, go! Tá, vem cá! Com calma, eu sei!
Ele então decidiu trazer a equipe original que trabalhou nos filmes anteriores para ajudá-lo nessa missão.
So the life cycle of the creature always starts with a face hugger.
So cute.
This is our proboscis facehugger. This is what attacks Tyler in the cryo chamber. So there's a series of cables attached up to these guitar tuners. As we move this disc in every direction, you get. So this is another version, just a straight silicon tail. Sometimes we would put a little bit of fishing line on these and puppeteer the tail that way. These ones you pull them and the claws will open up.
We had rubber puppets that we just throw at the actors' faces. We had full-on animatronics that we could puppeteer. When they were struggling in someone's face, we could just really puppeteer them and all their parts. We even had an RC car that was my favorite thing on set. It was an RC facehugger that I could drive around and get it to run between people's legs and go. It was a terrifying thing.
Na sequência em que os personagens precisam atravessar uma sala cheia de facehuggers adormecidos, a equipe de efeitos escondeu os operadores dos animatrônicos dentro das enormes caixas que aparecem na cena.
Navarro.
The chest burster was originally designed by the great Swiss surrealist H.R. Giger, who did the creature effects for Ridley Scott's original 1979 Alien.
Embora o design do chest burster seja atemporal, a equipe atualizou sua aparência, adicionando braços que se movem, articulações mais complexas e um toque de realismo com uma textura translúcida e muscular.
I really have the easiest job, you know, I just have to lay there and scream. They built a fake torso that I kind of had to wear as a front backpack, and I'm standing / sitting in a hole in the corbellum, and then my fake legs are attached, and then they cut a hole in the pants of my fake legs, and that was the point of entry for the chest burster puppet, so that I could come up to the little door that is my busted ribs.
Slowly.
A cena exigiu um esforço coletivo, onde 9 pessoas tiveram que trabalhar em sincronia. Havia pessoas embaixo das mesas e do chão, com a equipe toda envolvida para controlar cada movimento da criatura.
As a director, you grow up dreaming about one day being able to see those things happen in front of you and give the audience a scene that feels so real and crude and raw as that scene feels in our movie. Just because it's all real, there's no CG whatsoever involved in that scene.
O xenomorfo é, sem dúvida, uma das criaturas mais icônicas do cinema. E para dar vida a ele neste novo capítulo, o diretor Fede Álvares confiou essa responsabilidade a Shane Mayhem, um veterano da franquia que havia trabalhado na criação da rainha Alien no filme de James Cameron.
All of our artists, all of the concept artists and digital artists were very, very keen on making the xenomorph feel like the original film. In this story, they're engineered by the Weyland-Yutani company. So they've taken a xenomorph and they've concocted their own method of how the life cycle works. So it sort of breaks the traditional egg, facehugger, chest burster, xenomorph cycle. Fede, that he wanted the surfaces very rough, very, very sharp. He wanted it to feel as if the character ran their hand against it, much like a shark's skin, they would be cut.
Dentro da parte transparente da cabeça do xenomorfo, é possível ver uma estrutura parecida com vértebras, iluminada de um jeito que destaca cada detalhe interno. Além disso, o novo design, mais esguio e pontiagudo, dá à criatura uma aparência ainda mais estranha e aterrorizante.
As far as the animatronic component of these goes, we have a full-size, fully robotic animatronic puppet of what we call like the hero xenomorph character. And then we've got a lighter weight rod puppet that is still animatronic that can be around by a single performer to get sort of a more rapid and dynamic performance.
O responsável por dar vida à forma clássica das criaturas que aparecem no filme foi Trevor Newling, que possui pouco mais de 2 metros de altura.
He's huge. He's being played by like a very large man. Which is funny because that's exactly what Ridley did with Alien 1. And going back to those basics feels very authentic to the franchise, but also like scary because he can run.
Já a nova criatura que aparece no final, com uma aparência híbrida entre um humano e um xenomorfo, é interpretada pelo ex-jogador de basquete romeno Robert Bobrovsky. Com cerca de 2 metros e 30 centímetros, ele é considerado um dos homens mais altos do mundo.
There were lessons that I remember from the James Cameron film. We were constantly putting, drool and slime on the mouth, and with gravity it runs away.
Para o efeito da gosma que escorre do xenomorfo, foram usadas bombas com controle sem fio, permitindo que elas fossem facilmente escondidas e posicionadas onde fosse necessário para ativar a baba da criatura.
When it's such a powerful and strong creature, but also is very human as well. The humanoid aspect of the creature, I think, is what really puts fear in your heart.
To be able to react to the actual creatures, one part of me is like squealing with joy, because we really don't see that on a lot of sets anymore.
As referências visuais aos filmes anteriores da franquia e o esforço da produção em criar efeitos especiais de forma prática são alguns dos destaques de Alien Romulus. No entanto, uma dessas referências precisou ser aprimorada com o uso de inteligência artificial, o que gerou certa controvérsia.
Eu não vou mentir sobre suas chances, mas ofereço minhas condolências.
In the script, we had this synthetic called Rook. Rook was always going to be a torso in the movie. We knew it was a way of fleshing out the computer mother in a way. So then came the moment to decide how this Rook's going to look like. And we thought, well, it's going to be a robot. It can look like anybody. In the world of Alien, you've seen some likeness being repeated many times. So we thought like Ian Holm will be the perfect Rook.
E esse retorno só foi possível graças a uma combinação de efeitos práticos e digitais. No set de gravações, o personagem foi representado por um boneco animatrônico, que posteriormente foi aprimorado, passando por processos de computação gráfica e inteligência artificial, para deixá-lo mais próximo da fisionomia do ator. Embora Rook seja um personagem novo, a semelhança física com Ash criou uma forte conexão visual com o filme Alien, o 8º Passageiro. Álvares conta que a decisão foi consentida pela família do ator, que aprovou a oportunidade de ter o astro em mais um filme, e que o objetivo não era tentar reproduzir o talento do ator, mas apenas criar um novo personagem com suas feições como uma forma de homenagem. A equipe de efeitos especiais utilizou um molde da cabeça de Home, feito durante as filmagens de O Senhor dos Anéis, para construir uma versão animatrônica. Detalhes como o movimento dos olhos, nariz e boca foram animados com o auxílio de computação gráfica. Para recriar a voz de Home, um ator gravou os diálogos do personagem, e essas gravações foram processadas por um software que clonou a voz original de Ian, usando diálogos do filme de 79.
Mas vocês têm a minha simpatia.
O diretor revela sua obsessão em colocar os personagens em situações onde a fuga parece impossível. E o ápice de Alien Romulus acontece na sequência final do elevador, em que os xenomorfos perseguem os protagonistas em meio a momentos de gravidade zero.
Two people in a corridor, trap and about to face a horde of xenomorph, that would be enough for most movies. But here, not only you shoot them, then you have acid and zero G, why not? And then when I think it's over, oh no boy, you have to go through all this elevator shaft. Then the gravity comes back. And then there's more xenomorphs, and there's an elevator that's unhinged and might fall on your face. And then there's face huggers. And Andy kills the xenomorph in a way that is very cinematic, I would say.
10, 9, 8, 7.
My process is a bit insane sometimes, but when I'm shooting the scene, it has to work in front of my eyes. And so we're gonna have this big set piece on the elevator shaft in zero G with xenomorphs and facehuggers hunting them, and also an elevator that is unhinged that might go up and down at any moment.
Para essa cena, foram construídos 4 eixos de elevador, cada um com funções específicas. 2 deles eram horizontais, enquanto um foi projetado para simular o movimento do elevador, com paredes móveis e Andy se segurando, enquanto tudo ao redor parece flutuar. Para criar a ilusão de gravidade zero, os atores foram suspensos por cabos, com a gravidade puxando em direções inesperadas, o que adicionou um realismo impressionante às cenas.
Our elevator has been built in multiple sets, but we needed one that we could do the action in. And because we're weightless in this situation, we needed something that we could fight against gravity, so we decided to put it on its side so that we could have a different setup. Within this set, we have incorporated stunt rails so that all the harnesses and all the mechanics actually are designed into the set, so we can have trolleys that run through here with one point in the center. And the set lended itself very well to having mechanical fixtures in there.
If we had the whole elevator shaft built horizontally, we could really pull those wires and get Kaylee to travel from one far end of the other one at like an incredible speed and create what it feels like an incredible thrilling fall in the movie.
E o segredo para manter a sensação de realismo nestas sequências foi a utilização de criaturas construídas com efeitos práticos para interagir com os atores.
We also did a few shots against an LED wall where the actual background shot before and then put into a screen to get more close-ups. So some of those close-ups, what you see in the back is actually a screen, like an LED wall, protecting the real background. There was intention from the beginning to almost quote directly moments from previous films. The face-to-face, obviously, it's a classic moment from Fincher's Alien 3. That is the first time that that happened between Sigourney and the Xenomorph.
O set foi construído horizontalmente para simular um eixo de 5 andares, que precisou ser digitalmente estendido para parecer ter 20 andares. Elementos em cena, como objetos flutuantes e a continuidade entre os cortes, foram aprimorados com efeitos digitais. A queda de Rain foi capturada de forma prática, com a atriz sendo conduzida pela equipe de dublês e utilizando equipamentos de segurança.
In the editorial room, Betty wanted it to be a little bit more dramatic, and of course, our Xeno has to catch her. So on the day, we had wrapped a partial Xeno tail around her so we could shoot, and then that would be connected to her and make it feel like he really grabbed her.
But to get the fall to happen and to make it as dramatic as Fede wanted, we ended up adding a CG Xeno connected to that tail so that it feels very dramatic, like he caught her.
Sometimes it takes me out if I think, oh, that's not possible. If someone would have fallen so hard and to get catched up, they will die. So we needed to slow down her fall.
E a conclusão da sequência se dá quando Andy salva Rain e faz uma referência a uma fala de Ripley em Aliens, O Resgate.
Get away from her, you bitch!
This film is very tonally referential to the original two films, and one of the ways that's illustrated is with the sort of comeback of the one-liner.
The line was not scripted. I remember going and whispering on David Johnson's ear, like, what if you say this? And he was like, do you think? I was like, I think we should try it. And he gave a great performance.
Get away from her. You bitch.
Com um orçamento de 80 milhões de dólares, Alien Romulus faturou mais de 300 milhões de dólares nas bilheterias mundiais, se tornando o segundo filme mais rentável da franquia. E aliado à recepção extremamente positiva de crítica e público, o longa deixa as portas abertas para novas sequências no futuro.
When you read about the experiences of people watching the first Alien, well, losing their minds. The birth of the creature was such a shock. It takes a whole movie to kind of grasp what that thing is. It was pure horror, true horror. That's the ambition with this movie. It's really not only for the people that saw it and loved the originals, but also for the generation that never seen one. Will be introduced to this universe through this film. I can't wait to see their faces.
Se você gosta deste tipo de conteúdo, não esqueça de deixar seu like, se inscrever no canal e ativar as notificações. Nos vemos no próximo vídeo. Até mais!